Pizza! Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime. You guys ever get commercial jingles stuck in your head? And I don't mean current day shit, because we don't really do commercial jingles anymore. I mean, who watches commercials anymore? Aside from like furiously hitting the skip button, we don't do jingles anymore. But I mean, do you ever go back to your childhood and remember old jingles from when you were a kid, and it's still there, and it's constantly there, and the jingles won't ever stop, especially the Bagel Bites one? I don't know, maybe it's just me. I mean, it might have something to do with the fact that when I was younger, it was the late 80s, early 90s that most of my TV watching, commercial, jingle understanding mind was exposed to, and that time was pretty random. Although not really as random as the more recent commercials now that I think about it.
Puppy monkey baby. Puppy monkey baby. Puppy monkey baby.
Get off my screen, demon! Yeah, the 90s isn't as bad as that. That's some next level crazy shit right there. Although, you know, the 90s isn't as sexist as some of the prior eras as well.
Every woman needs to be herself at times. Your answer? Baking. Baking good, baking often with gold medal flour. Little kitchen, true. Strange oven, also true. But you feel about gold medal the way most women do. You count on gold medal. Trust it so much you don't sift anymore. Gold medal flour is that fine, that uniform, that dependable. It gives you a feeling of confidence right down to your fingertips. What some call a white thumb. Couldn't your baking use this touch of gold medal confidence? Your white thumb?
You know the crazy thing about something like this? Go talk to your parents or grandparents or however old they have to be for like 50s, 60s commercials and show them something like this. They won't see it the same way as we do. I look at this and I'm like, man, that's sexist as shit. I show it to someone like that, which I've done before, and they're immediately like, oh man, yeah, gold medal was awesome. I remember this. Gold medal was the shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? Doesn't this commercial make you furious? Like, no, I always had to do all the baking. Gold medal was great. I'm like, okay, you know, maybe the marketing was right for the time. I don't know. Who's to judge? We're not here to talk about any of that shit. We're here to talk about the jingles that get stuck in my head and the characters that get stuck into my head. I bet you everybody knows this character.
Oh, yeah? Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid, here comes Kool-Aid, I'm gonna save the day.
What the fuck is that bullshit? Can you imagine some drink busting? No, you know what? Hold on. Let's modernize it a little bit for us, and now that we're grown up, you know, let's modernize this for a second. Think about it. Let's say that you were standing around like, hey guys, man, I'd really like a vodka and Red Bull right now because that would help this party out a lot. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, vodka and Red Bull man busts down your fucking fence. Like blows it the fuck away. Goes, hey, yeah, I'm here and I got your vodka and Red Bulls, guys. I'd be like, bitch, you better be able to pay for my fence, asshole. You know how much money it costs to put up a fucking fence? There's a fucking door for a reason. Unlatch that shit and come in the gate. Of course, that said, he'd probably be like, cool, you want a vodka and Red Bull? I'd be like, yeah, I do. And even when he pours it out of himself and it's like it's his own liquids coming out of his body to fill the drink, I still drink that shit. But that's not even the only red guy that's stuck in my head from back in those days. Does anyone else remember the Noid?
That nasty Noid's at it again. But Domino's pizza is hot and fresh because it's delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. For hotter, fresher pizza, call Domino's Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
Avoid that bitch! Avoid the Noid! You know, this was important back in that day. Do you know that you couldn't just order pizza and expect it to show up to the house at a timely manner and warm back then? This was actually a thing. This is actually Domino's whole shtick was, we can make a pizza and get it to you without it being ice fucking cold. That's what it was like to live back then. We didn't have those heater things to put the pizza in. We didn't have the process down to where any pizza place knew how to, like, turn that shit around quick. We didn't have pizza places on every fucking corner. All that shit hadn't happened yet. I know it blows somebody's mind to hear that, but it was just like, that's not how it was. And we finally had things like the microwave, so if you got it cold, you could heat it up at least. But before that, you had to put it on a fucking oven tray and stick that shit in the oven and preheat and all that. Fuck that shit. And imagine you wanted to record some of these commercials back then. You couldn't just pull them off of the internet. We didn't have the internet. You couldn't just TiVo that shit and play it back. We didn't have that. Or I guess that's even an old reference. We have DVR. We have none of that shit. You couldn't rewind live TV. That wasn't a thing. You had to get a big-ass VHS tape, shove that thing into a monstrous machine, hope to hit record in time, hope it came out all right while you're moving the fucking antennas and shit so that the screen is clear enough. And then, after you play it back a few times, hope it doesn't eat your fucking tape and destroy your record of it. If anyone out there remembers shopping for VCRs and having to figure out how many heads you wanted on a VCR, then you've got my respect. Let's just put it that way. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm just like, okay, cool, I got you. But really, the jingle that honestly keeps getting stuck in my head is this one.
Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime.
Pizza Bagel Bites. Bite-sized pizzas on wholesome little bagels. And now this new microwave tray makes them even crispier.
When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime.
Pizza Bagel Bites. Now even crispier out of the microwave. Whenever you want them.
I was singing it around the house, and then my son was like, "What the fuck are you singing?" And he didn't say that, but I mean his tone was pretty much like, "Hey jerk, what is this shit?" And I was like, okay, this is an old commercial. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. And it took like 2 seconds. And then I played this for him, and now it's stuck in his head. So, ha-ha, gotcha! But there's one ultimate commercial that if you've heard it before and you hear it again now, you're screwed for the rest of the week. So, please do enjoy this little earworm.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life, nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life, fresh goes better. Mentos fresh and fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
Gotcha!